This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted today to be joined by Nick Campbell here over Zoom. Nick, we've just been talking off camera and talking about how ridiculous these last 24 hours have been. Daniel Dubois out, Martin Bakole in on 36 hours notice. This is something we might never see again, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, I think thing with the money that's involved in Saudi and the strings that Turkey's able to pull, that's how he could pull this together and make it happen. So we might see more of it going forward. But like I just said to you, I can't remember the last time anything like this has happened. A world title fight's been pulled, and in my opinion, a better fighter has been brought in to replace Daniel Dubois. So I think it's a bigger fight. It probably is a more exciting fight given the circumstance. And I kind of feel that this fight, the Dubois Parker fight, was being more spoke about than Bayev and Bivol. More people were interested in this fight than they were that fight. We've seen that. We know what we're going to get. It's going to be unbelievable. The two best light heavyweights that has been in a long time. But this now I think is the main attraction on the night.
Let's just go to about 5 o'clock yesterday evening. We're all sat there, just again, eagerly anticipating Saturday night. And the Ring magazine put a tweet out. Daniel Dubois is being evaluated by doctors. He's been taken ill, and they've already got replaced. They're already scanning for replacements. What was your thoughts when you first saw the news that Dubois might not be fighting?
I was actually on a FaceTime. My mum and dad are over in Australia just now, so I was giving them a FaceTime and having a chat, and I got a notification and it popped up Dubois Parker off. So I've instantly like clicked on it and I'm like my heart sank because I'm like, oh my God, like I know how much time and effort Joe's putting over the last 12 months out the ring, the amount of money he's invested. This was his time to become two-time world champion. So my heart sank at first and I was obviously devastated for him. I know how it feels to have a fight called off in the last kind of final hours. So I could kind of understand how he'd be feeling. But one thing, I've never had a world title fight or a fight financially as big called off. So at the same time, I couldn't really imagine how he was feeling. But then it all moved very quickly. And I think within the first an hour of me seeing that the fight was off, Bakole Parker was announced. Crazy. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
And just looking at this matchup stylistically, our sponsors, Quiff, have got Martin Bakole as the underdog going into this. Do you see it the same way?
Yeah, like I say, I'm not gonna. I've kind of said to a few people, I'm not gonna give a prediction because Joe's a very good friend of mine. I'm also know Martin very well. He's a friend. I consider him a friend, and two guys I really respect. Two guys that respect one another. So I'm not gonna give a prediction, but if I was to put a percentage or odds on it, I would say it's 60-40 in favour of Joe, purely given the fact that Joe's had an amazing 10-week camp. He's been training solidly for the last 12 months with a view to fighting early in 2025. Martin's obviously supposed to be fighting in May, right at the beginning. He's camped for that. He's looks pretty heavy. He's probably not got the fitness that I don't think he's got the fitness for real high paced 12 rounds. So, given all that, I would have to say 60-40, 65-35 with Joe. If Martin had had a camp under his belt, it's a 50-50.
We know that you've shared the ring with both on multiple occasions. How do the styles differ? Obviously, very easy to see on the eye how they differ, but with you being in the ring with them, what's so different about both of them that makes this such an exciting fight?
Yeah, listen, like Joe is a very technical boxer. He's going to have an amazing game plan. Whoever he's in against with Andy, his conditioning and stuff like that over the last 12 months has went through the roof working with George Lockhart. He's kind of the complete package now as a fighter. And he's really matured, obviously, his experience. I think he's 34, 35 fights in. He's fought everybody. So, yeah, Joe's the complete package, man. Joe's good boxer, good tactician, can do a bit of everything. Martin is a pressure fighter. Martin tries to suffocate you with work, keeps really high punch output, and he's a massive, gigantic man. He's 6'6", and he's probably about 300 pounds on the night. So like you say, stylistically very different. Um, Martin tries to suffocate you, Joe tries to outthink you, outbox you with a game plan. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I think Martin's very dangerous for the first 6 rounds of the fight. Um, Joe will need to be very switched on. He'll need to navigate the first 6 rounds expertly. I think once it goes past 6 rounds, fitness is going to come into it. Like I say, Martin's only at the start of his camp. He's probably conditioned to do 12 rounds, but I don't think he's conditioned to do 12 rounds the way he would like to. So I can see it becoming very, very tricky for Martin once it goes past 6 rounds.
So do you see this as a fight of two halves essentially?
Yeah, potentially two halves, but I think listen, Billy and Martin both back Martin's ability 1,000,000%, as does Joe and Andy back Joe's ability. So you've got two guys who are supremely confident in what they're doing, but there's no doubt about it. Billy's going to be saying to him, "Go on and get rid of him early. Go on and wipe him out in 6 rounds." That's got to be the game plan because there's no way that Martin's conditioned for the 12. I could be wrong. Well, then I know. Do you know what I mean? I know Martin really well. I trained a lot with him, but I've not been around him for the last 4 or 5 months. So I don't know what sort of work he's been doing in the shadows. But looking at him, he looks pretty heavy, and I think that going into the championship end of the fight, it's going to be a struggle for him.
Who do you feel has made or took the bigger risk with this fight? Obviously, Bakole known as the bogeyman of the heavyweight division, but Parker's not been in the ring for 11 months and had a world title shot sat in front of him. Who's facing
Yeah.
the bigger risk with this fight?
Do you know, it's a difficult question to answer. Obviously, Martin had the mandatory shot with a Jagba in May, which he was preparing for. He's now took a fight on 48 hours notice. He's in the middle of the Congo somewhere. He's going to come and fight sitting ready Joe Parker. Shows you the balls on him. And he's potentially thrown away his, because I believe he would have beat a Jagba, and then he would be mandatory for the IBF belt anyway from the winner of Parker Dubois. So Martin's risking a lot by taking this fight. But on the flip side of that, Joe's given up the world title opportunity he had with, not giving it up, but he said, right, okay, that's not there anymore. Okay, give me the next best guy, Martin. So both guys are risking equally as much, I would say. I think they were both going to end up fighting each other anyway. Like I say, I think Joe would have beat Daniel. I think Martin would have beat a Jagba, and then they both are on a collision course then with the IBF mandatory, thing. So it was a fight that was always going to happen. It's just a funny circumstance for how it came about. And I would say both men are equally risking just as much.
And just on this whole week as a whole, we've seen this isn't the first fight this week already that's required a late replacement. We saw Josh Padley come in from England as well. How mental has this week been in the whole of boxing history? Obviously, it was billed as the best boxing card of all time. Can
Yeah.
we put it now as probably the maddest week in boxing of all time?
Maddest week I can remember. Don't know if you've seen the video of Joe getting told that it was Bakole. That was the first time he knew anything about it. And I think that just sums up how mad it is. And like it shows you the plums on both men, both go, yeah, all right, we'll have a fight. Like, fair enough, the world title's not there. We move on. Life goes on, but we need to put a show on for the fans. So now fair play to both guys for stepping in and doing it. But I think as well, just on what you spoke about, the best card in boxing, if it wanted to keep that, I seen some of the other guys mentioned, and absolutely no disrespect to them, but the only guy with a legitimate case for keeping it the best card ever was Martin Bakole at this current moment in time. I don't think AJ is not going to get thrown into that fight on 48 hours notice. Zhang and Kabayel are both fighting one another. Usyk's not going to get thrown in. He's the undisputed world champion, not undisputed, but the unified world champion. So he's not going to go into it without a camp. McCauley was the only real viable option to keep it a real, 50-50 on paper fight. So yeah, I think it just shows the power of Saudi, shows that they want to keep it the best card that's ever been in boxing. And in my opinion, outside Usyk, this is the two best heavyweights on the planet. It's a shame that Martin's not had the camp, but it is what it is.
Just on Daniel Dubois, we know how much excitement there was heading into this fight with Joseph Parker. What would you like to see Dubois do next? Would you like to see him wait maybe and have the winner of Bakole versus Parker, or straight to Usyk?
Who knows? Listen, I think if you try and second guess what's going to happen in heavyweight boxing, it'd be very foolish. I wouldn't be putting any money on anything happening next. We've seen what happened in an hour. Do you know what I mean? It's went from being the IBF World title to Bakole versus Parker. Insane. So it's difficult to see what's going to happen. I think likelihood is, yeah, the winner of this will probably fight Daniel, but then what's going to happen with Usyk? Because there was a big talk of the winner of Dubois Parker fighting Usyk to become undisputed again. So there's a lot of moving parts. It'll be interesting to see. I think a lot of it comes down to what Turkey wants, how Turkey would like it to go forward. So it'll be interesting to see. But that would be I think fans will call for the winner of this to fight Dubois for the IBF, then the winner of that to go on and fight Usyk for undisputed. But there's a lot. Listen, Kabayel and Zhang are fighting as well. They're going to want a slice of the pie. So it's very difficult to know what's going to happen. But a lot of moving parts keeps it interesting. And yeah, if it was me, yes, when I go on and fight Dubois. But like I said, I'm probably confusing everybody with how much stuff I'm throwing out at them. I'm confused myself. But it's very difficult to see how it's going to pan out after that.
Just to take it all back a step and just simplify, I want to quickly get your thoughts on Zhang versus Kabayel tomorrow night. A really great fight that I think has gone criminally under the radar. How do you see that fight playing out, and who do you think comes out on top?
I think Campbell going to do the business. Very fit, young, athletic, strong, determined individual and a great run of form as well. Zhang, 42, 41, 42. You know, fitness has always been a little bit of an issue. His gas tank's always been a little bit of an issue. And I think against somebody with good an engine as Cabayel and as ferocious a body puncher, I can see him getting a wide points decision or a late stoppage. Like I said, it's pretty similar to Joe and Martin to a certain extent, because Zhang's going to be very dangerous in the first 6 rounds. So if Kabayel can navigate that, wear him down, I think he gets them late on.
Well, Nick, I'm going to leave it there. Appreciate your time, especially on such short notice. Kind of like Martin Bakole stepping in on short notice. You giving me an interview on short notice. So
Ah,
really
listen.
appreciate your time, and I'm sure we're all looking forward to the fights tomorrow night, aren't we?
Yeah, listen, just last point. I've kind of tried to get this across in all my interviews. Like I say, I know both men really well. And my biggest hope is that both of them come out of this fight safe, healthy, return fit to their families. Both good family men, both got beautiful wives and lovely kids. So, God willing, they'll come through it, give us a hell of a show. May the best man win. And yeah, looking forward to a good night of boxing.
Absolutely, Nick, top man.
Cheers, Josh. Thank you, man.